Episode 23 of Bandits Weekly, presented by Smash Supplements. I'm Nathan Crosby. Guests this week include Keith McInnis, current Bandits defenseman, and his cousin, a former Bandit defenseman who is playing at Northern Michigan University, and that is Josh Zinger. So, great episode we've got today. Before we get into our interviews, though, let's talk about what happened this last week for the Brooks Bandits since our last episode. Finally had a road game. Had been 21 days in between away games for the Bandits. Friday night we were in Okotoks for another game against the Oilers. Bandits had won 9 straight against Okotoks this year heading into that game. And this was an intense game. It was a very classic first period, Brooks versus Okotoks. Just the one goal from Hunter Wallace. It was 1-0, and then the floodgates opened in the second period. And what a seesaw game it was, with Okotoks going up 3-2, the Bandits tying late in the second, and then Sam Huck reclaiming the lead for Okotoks late in the second. It's 4-3 Okotoks heading into the third period. It was just the 11th time this year the Bandits went to the third period trailing, and then they come out guns a-blazing in the first 6 minutes of the third period and take a 6-4 lead on the Oilers. Things looking good. Credit Okotoks, they battled back, tied the game up 6-6 with the extra attacker. We go to overtime. Third overtime already in the BCHL Alberta division for the Brooks Bandits. First time against Okotoks. They've had one against Black Falls and one against Sherwood Park. This was the first against the Oilers. And just 2 minutes in, Logan Sawyer takes the puck back into the D zone and then just heads north, beats everybody, and scores a great goal to end the game, 7-6 in overtime. And Sawyer had a terrific week, 6 points in 2 games, 3 points each night. And he was the BCHL Alberta Division Player of the Week. So congratulations to him. And what a great overtime goal that was. And a very entertaining 7-6 win for the Bandits, who are now 10-0 against the Oilers this year, but definitely came close in that game. Then we were back home on Friday night, on Saturday night, hosting the Black Falls Bulldogs, another team they've seen a lot of over the last few weeks, and a game that reminded me a lot of the February 23rd game when Black Falls was here. Just, you know, I thought a pretty all-around dominant effort from the Bandits. I know Black Falls managed to get, you know, over 20 shots on Johnny Hicks, but still, I thought the Bandits in control from the get-go. And, you know, that Parker Lalonde shorthanded goal in the second period, wraparound goal. There was like 3 wraparound goals in the game. Nathan Free had a beauty earlier in the game. And that Lalonde shorty really kind of deflated the Bulldogs, and the Bandits skate to a 9-2 win. What everyone was talking about after the game was the fights in the second period between Keith McInnis, who you'll hear from in a second. He squared up with Bulldogs captain Cody Willick over in this end. Great fight. And then later in the period at that end, Ty Mason and Hunter Brown dropped the gloves. Pretty lopsided fight. Ty, of course, comes by it honestly. His dad, Willie, known to be a scrapper. He has over 300 penalty minutes one season when he played in the SJ back in the 1999-2000 season. And then we found out his Ty's grandpa, Smokin' Joe, was a boxer. So certainly the bloodline of fighters there. And so Ty has the fight with Brown, and fans certainly enjoyed that game. And a 9-2 Bandit win. So that's now 8 straight wins for the Bandits in this BC Alberta division, and a 28-0 home record this season. Okay, let's talk with one of the fighters. It's Bandits defenseman Keith McInnis. He's in his first season with the Bandits, came at the Christmas break from Waterloo of the USHL, and we really enjoyed our chat with Keith McInnis. Keith, thanks for joining us on Bandits Weekly. I got to ask about last Saturday's game against Black Falls. We saw 2 fights. You were involved with in one of them, and then of course Ty Mason after that. First off, what did you think of Mason's fight?
Yeah, he got him pretty good. You know, to watch. I was in the room, and then you know, the crowd just erupts, the horns go, and you don't know what's going on. So I ran out and looked, and I just saw Mace just feeding him uppercuts. So it was really awesome to see. You know, even in practice, you don't want to mess with Mace. So to see him go and just absolutely kill a kid, it was really good to see.
Well, and I then found out that his dad put up some PIMs with the Estevan Bruins about 20 years ago, so he comes by it naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
And his grandpa too apparently is a boxer.
Really? Wow, there you go. There's the explanation.
And what about yourself? When was the last time you were in a fight?
I fought once in Waterloo. That would have been my only other fight. So, second tilt.
What caused all that?
Well, it was kind of funny. Willick had kind of been running around all game wanting someone, and then I came back to the front of the net and he cross-checked me from behind, and I got up and I felt another one, so I just turned around and I had enough of it. So I don't usually do it too often, but I wasn't putting up with it, I guess. So just dropped him and there we went. So.
Well, it's rare that we get a fight nowadays, and to have two in the same period, and like they weren't, as we said, they weren't just wrestling, like you guys were going toe to toe. So it was obviously very entertaining. But why do you think that game everything just boiled over? Was it because you don't play them again in the regular season?
That definitely could be a part of it. I think most of it, ever since we moved to the BCHL, you only play the same teams for the four other teams, and so. Not having played Spruce Grove yet, you've been playing Black Falls and Okotoks multiple times, and so I think with the repetition in each game, you're getting under each other's skin more and more, and so I think especially this being the last time we play them until the postseason possibly, I think it was kind of just if you look at the score and everything kind of just boiled over, so I thought that was probably what led to it.
What have you thought of the joining the BCHL, the Alberta division, now that we're over a month in? What have you thought about the games, and obviously a lot of Okotoks and Blackfalds, but what have you thought of it?
I think it's been great. I think, coming to Brooks, I was planning on playing the AJ, and then, depending on how everything went, maybe we were going to be in the BCHL next year. But, that everything happened, and now we're in the BC, so I can't complain. I think it's been awesome. All the guys enjoy it. We love that. Most games are hard. We got to come in ready to play, and so I think it's been great for myself and the team. It's been just awesome overall.
Yeah, so you joined the team just after the Christmas break, and so. But you're one of those guys that I feel like you've been here longer than you have, just because you're a friendly guy and we've gotten to know you. But what have you thought of the experience so far being a Brooks Bandit?
I think it's been great. The community supports this team really well. That's one thing I've noticed for sure. Being here with all the guys, we're a family, and it's just awesome to be a part of. Coming to the rink every day, and it's fun. You get to go to battle, and you get to have practice, and pregame skate and everything. It's just a blast. I can't complain. What
have you learned so far, and what are some of the things the coaches are saying to you that's really helping you?
Yeah, I think just kind of my one-on-one battles, being a taller guy, I think my footwork has always needed improvement, and I think that's kind of one of the emphases that I've got, and, just trying to stay calm and work on my footwork one-on-one, not getting beat. So I think it's been really good. Makes and I go over video every week and just try and figure out what I can do better, in different situations, and I think it's been awesome. What
are some of the things you guys work on to work on your feet, improve that foot speed?
Yeah, I think, even in, we'll do drills in practice, and if I just we'll talk, I'll try and focus on something, and then, we have video, so then if we'll just watch my rep, and then, sometimes we'll stay out after, do stuff late, go on before, and then even on skills days with Kevin Yellowega, we do stuff. A lot of that translates to what I need, so it's been great. And
you've noticed the difference already?
Oh, yeah.
2.5 months in?
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. The blue line, I think it's a great blue line, and there's so many, there's a lot of personalities on this year's blue line, but also some all really good players. What do you think of the defense on this team?
Yeah, I think we're great. I think we have the best D-core in the league, and I think, the way we can all, 5D, 7D, however many we dress, it's, we all work in sync, and we're, I don't have to play with you for 10 games. I can just play with you for a couple shifts, and we're like brothers already, so everything works great.
What have you learned from some of the veteran players, like a Huey Hooker or an Ethan Byer? What's it like with them?
I think just the way they know the system so well. Coming in, everything was completely different from what I had been previously playing. So I think the way they play really translate to our systems, and being able to watch them practice games, it's really helped me try and become more confident in our system and try and play that way.
I forgot Luke Marshall as well.
Yeah.
Good leader as well on the back end. And it's fun to watch you guys a lot. And it seems like this team really is having fun out there and making the most of what was a pretty the switched leagues in the middle of the year. That's unprecedented to be a part of that. But what would you say the feeling around the group is as now we're heading towards, the BCHL has come out with the playoff format and what's going to be happening. Does that relax things a little, knowing what you're playing for?
You know what? I don't think. I don't think so. I think at the end of the day, we've all been focusing on just trying to win every night, and so I think that came out. That's great. That's awesome. Super exciting. But I think at the end of the day, for all of us, it's just been about winning each game, and then whatever comes, we're just going to try and win that too.
Awesome. So your background, you're from Red Deer. You go to Yale Hockey Academy out in Abbotsford. Tell us about that experience, what you learned from that.
Yeah, after my first year BAM AAA in Red Deer, we played in the John Reed tournament. And so big tournament in St. Albert, and we played Yale. We got beat, I think it was 6-3, and they had Zach Benson and Tanner Molendijk on that team. And so a lot of guys that you're like, well, look at them now, Benson's in the NHL. So it was really exciting to play them. And then when I got the call from their head director, it was, oh my God, like maybe I could actually go there. And so looking back at it, it was the best thing I could have done. My first year, COVID happened. And so back in Alberta, they weren't allowed to skate or anything. The rinks were closed, everything was closed. But in BC, we were fortunate enough to still be able to skate and work out every day. And so the facility they have in Abbotsford was fantastic, 2 ice sheets. We had our own dressing room, our classrooms, teachers came to us. So we were super fortunate to be able to go to the rink every day, work out, skate, and get our schooling done all by 2:30. So it was the best scenario for myself.
And that was your first time being away from home?
It was, correct, yeah. I left at 14. I haven't been home since, so it's been awesome. Yeah,
so you leave Yale and then you go to the USHL with Waterloo. What do you take from that experience? What did you learn from it?
It wasn't the greatest. It was great in different ways. I was hurt. I broke my collarbone twice down there. So, my 16-year-old year was kind of thrown in the trash can. Only got to play 9 games, so that was super unfortunate. But I learned lots being around those guys. We were an older team, so it was very nice to watch them, how they roll, how they play, what do they do off the ice. That was just all fantastic. But at the end of the day, I didn't get to play many games, and so that was the frustrating part. But being down there was sweet.
You got a connection to Jordan Hughesman as well through that, right?
Yep. Jordan played down in Cedar Rapids, and so Waterloo and Cedar Rapids are only 45 minutes apart.
And Scopa.
And Scopa, yep. And so with them being 45 minutes apart, it's a huge rivalry every night. We do a Thanksgiving night game in Waterloo, and it's a teddy bear toss game, sold out against Cedar Rapids, and then on Saturday we go there for their teddy bear toss game, and so it's a super big rivalry down there, and those games are really fun to be a part of.
So then you leave the USHL and come back to Alberta and with the Bandits. Did that feel kind of like a bit of a reset?
For sure, definitely. I think being in that league, it was hard for me to come off of injury and kind of try and find myself again. And I think coming here, I was really able to kind of just settle down and really try and find my offensive ways again. And I think with the system and how we play and with the skill of guys we have, I've really been able to do that. So it's been fantastic. I can't complain.
Got to ask about your cousin Josh Zinger, who's in his 2nd season now at Northern Michigan. We just heard the other day, 2nd-team All-Star in the CCHA. Congratulations to Josh, who we're going to be hearing from later on in this episode. But tell me about your relationship with Josh and growing up and everything.
Yeah, it's been great. Him being my first cousin, we every Christmas you're always together, and all the holidays you're together. But we were fortunate enough. We're 5 years apart. But it doesn't feel like that. We've kind of been tight ever since. And I got to give him a lot of credit. Whenever we would hang out, every time our families would be together, I'm 5 years younger than him. So when we were young, he's 14 and I'm 9. And so, yeah, it was it was really great to be able to watch him and kind of idol him as I was growing up. And now that we're older, it's we're together every day in the summer almost, and train together, skate together. And we call almost every week, and really just try and feed off of each other. What are we doing here? What is he doing there that could help each other? And so it's been really good to have him. He's like an older brother. He's my biggest role model, and I'll forever be grateful for him.
And I remember when we got him that 21-22 season in that big trade with Olds, and he was a forward.
Yeah,
converted to D. And I mean, what a pickup that was for the Bandits, and they won, of course, the national championship. He was part of that. Talk about the type of player he is. How would you describe Josh, and what do you think really makes him stand out?
I think his skating ability, it's next to none. He's like a little water bug out there. He's here, there, fast too, and it's very impressive to see him move like he does. But if you see him in the gym, it's no surprise to the way he can move. But yeah, he's a very energetic, good shot, really skilled, solid, smooth skating defenseman, and it's really exciting to see him play in the NCAA and have success too.
Have you ever played forward? I
did actually. Yeah, when I was. It would have been my first year. I would have played up until my second year of Adam AA. I was a forward, and I switched to D. So he did it a little later though. So
it's rare you see that in junior players, but it obviously worked out, and he's having a great year at Northern Mich. So your family back home in Red Deer, tell us about them. You got a couple sisters, your mom, dad. We've seen them at some games. They're awesome people, but just your family, what they mean to you? Yeah,
they mean everything. Moving away at 14 was definitely hard on them, but I got extremely thankful for that opportunity. It was definitely hard on my mom, and at the end of the day, she's like, I've never been a part of a hockey decision, so you and Dad, you guys make the decision. So I got to be super thankful and give them tons of credit for letting me go on that journey. And being back in Alberta, it's nice that they can come to most games, and especially in Black Falls, I was able to have tons of family come. So my two younger sisters, it's been hard on them not having me home, but I can be annoying sometimes, and so can they. So it's a lot of fun when I'm home. But yeah, two younger sisters, mom and dad, and a dog, and mom and dad just try and come to as many games as they can. So
what's the dog's name?
Chevy.
What is
he? A double doodle, so he's a golden doodle and a Labradoodle.
We're going to have to do one of these days, the players that have dogs, we're going to have to get all the dog pics, I think.
For sure.
And round those up. We'll get Dre on that.
Yep.
But we'll leave it at that. Keith, it's been great getting to know you through the first couple months here, and continued success to you. Looking forward to the final stretch of games here.
Yep. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks to Keith McInnis for joining us on Bandits Weekly. Just a reminder that it's brought to you by Smash Supplements, where you can get everything you need to level up and power through your day. Open Monday to Friday 10 to 6, Saturday 10 to 4 in downtown Brooks. Thank you, Smash Supplements. So Keith's older cousin, Josh Zinger, played here in the 2021-22 season, acquired in that big trade with the Olds Grizzlies that also saw Noah Hackett dealt to the Bandits, and went on to win a national championship in Estevan. Just completed his sophomore season at Northern Michigan. Here's our chat with Josh Zinger. Josh, it's great to see you. And I was just thinking about the last time I would have seen you, and that was in Estevan. I guess not in Estevan. It would have been when we got back to Brooks and we had the parade downtown, and then you guys left for the summer and you went to Northern Michigan. So it's been a minute, but how you been?
I've been doing well. I definitely miss my time in Brooks. But yeah, I'm really enjoying myself in Michigan now, and having lots of fun.
So the season, your sophomore season at Northern Mich, how did everything go?
It was good. Still learning a lot. I'm kind of still new to the position, so I'm still learning a lot, especially at the college level. It's a lot harder defensively, so I feel like I'm making strides in that area, but it's tough. Our team struggled a bit this year. We kind of couldn't really find our groove to get going. We had a great group of guys though, and yeah, I loved all the guys in our team and really couldn't complain about anyone, which I usually feel like on every team there's a few guys you're like you don't know about, but I really liked our group this year, and it was kind of unfortunate we couldn't get going, but yeah, it was a fun year.
And congratulations, second team All Star in the CCHA. So I was talking to your cousin Keith, and he had mentioned that were you playing a little bit of forward this year?
Yeah, so my coach kind of mentioned it to me. He was talking to the AD, and the AD said like you should try Josh forward. And then my coach told me that. I'm like, well, like Grant, that's nice of him to say, but like I kind of already tried that and it did not work. So he's like, yeah, that's what I told him, but he's like, I don't know if we're down a goal late in the game, maybe we put you there and see. So a couple times this year we were down, and I got put there for a couple of shifts, and I didn't feel like I did much, but my line was able to score. I was just kind of out there. It felt like, but yeah. And then at the end of the year, we had a few injuries. And one of our best players, Schlane, got injured. He's a centerman, so we were kind of short guys. So Grant decided to put me at forward to try and fill a spot, which I tried my best. I don't think I did very well doing it, but yeah, it was just a temporary thing.
But you have so much experience playing forward because you converted to defense. Was it when you were in Salmon Arm in the BC League, if I remember correctly?
No, it was actually my 20-year-old year junior. When I
In Olds.
started in Olds, yeah, in Olds that year. That was my first year, but yeah, my role is a little bit different. I was kind of a third, fourth line, like kind of power forward guy that just forechecked hard. So when I got switched to D, my role kind of changed into more of like an offensive defenseman. So when Grant wanted me to fill like Schlane's role, I was like, I'm kind of used to just forechecking hard, but I'll try.
So what do you prefer playing, like forward or defense?
I probably like defense. Yeah, I think it's kind of the only reason why I got the opportunity to play here in Michigan. If I didn't switch, I don't know where I'd be. I'd maybe be at Red Deer College right now or something. So yeah, I like the challenge of trying to figure out the new position, and I think I'm a bit better at it.
Why do you think, and that would have been Scott Atkinson in Olds, I believe. If I remember our conversations, you talking about switching. And like what was the conversation like? Did he just sit you down and say, what do you think about playing back?
Yeah, so so he's done it before. I don't know if you remember Akio Hiroshi. He's from Calgary, but he played in Salmon Arm under Scott Atkinson. And after his first year, he actually switched Hiroshi to defense as well. And that ended up working out for him. He's with Vancouver now. So it was kind of the same thing for me. We had injuries on the back end, and it was my 19-year-old year. We had injuries on the back end, and it was COVID year. And I don't know if you remember the last like 3 games of the season, Olds played Brooks,
Mhm.
and we had suspensions. So Scotty put me at defense just to like fill in, and I was kind of I was kind of nervous because I was about to play defense. My first time playing defense against Brooks, and but yeah, he kept me there. And originally I was like, oh, I don't know about this, but I went to the game and I guess I did like decently well. So then I played the next game there, and then finally our last game, our one D man who was suspended was back, and instead of putting him back on D, he kept him on he put him on forward and kept me at D. And I was honestly just enjoying myself back there. But after that, he's like, "Look, like you have a decision to make going into your last year junior, but I think you should switch." And I told him I'd come into camp and try it, but I didn't know for sure. And then I kind of worked at it that summer and tried to watch some video and kind of think I figured it out.
I'd say so. And you come to Brooks at the deadline there and that massive deal. Like, was there ever a conversation with the coaches here in Brooks, like, hey, if there's ever a situation where we need to put you at forward, would you be comfortable with that? Or was it you're here just to play defense?
I was just there to play defense. I remember Campione, Dom. he got put it forward actually a little bit, and then he was like, "Rick, why am I playing forward? Zinger is a forward." But they chose to put him at forward and not me. So I think they just wanted me to play defense.
It's a really I that's who I think about when I think of like versatility and guys moving around is like I just remember it didn't seem like you were new to the position. I remember like watching you like you were paired with Lundy. And it just seemed like you two really complemented each other. Can you just talk about playing with Lundy? Ethan
Yeah.
Lund.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, obviously. Yeah. Lundy's obviously like he was in the league since he was like 16. So he has a lot of experience and he's obviously a really good player. And he's very sound defensively. So I think that helped me out because that was my biggest challenge switching to defense was just the defensive part. So he was able to teach me as well as like kind of bail me out sometimes when I'd mess up. And yeah, he was actually a great leader for me and just kind of guiding me through that.
Another guy I got to ask you about that was on that 21-22 team that came over to the Bandits in the same trade as you, and that is your teammate Noah Hackett, now at Niagara. We both of you, I mean, we really felt like it was great that you were in Brooks, but it felt like not long enough that each of you got to experience being a Brooks Bandit. But Hacks is such a great personality. Just describe to me your relationship with him, and I'm sure you guys still keep in touch.
Yeah, I love that guy. He was one of my good friends, and we were both like we didn't kind of know what was going to happen in Olds, and then when we found out we were both going to Brooks, we were sad, but also like I don't think it could have been a better situation. Us both going, obviously going to a new team, you're a little bit nervous, but Hatch is so good at just kind of keeping things loose, and he's just such a character. So yeah, I lived with him too, and yeah, we still talk to this day, and he's doing really well. So.
And then just one more thing about that season, you know, coming at the deadline, winning a national championship with the team. Like, what did you take away from that whole experience of being a Brooks Bandit?
I think what I took away immediately was just kind of how professionally it was run and what it what the organization offered and what it takes to be a pro. Like all the teams I've been on in junior, I was on 3 teams before I was on Brooks, and they were all great places, but Brooks just seemed to be honestly on like a different level, and it was just so professionally ran. And when you get to the college level, it's ran so similar, and I think they did a great job of like modeling their days after college days to get you ready for that. And obviously, the coaches are unbelievable. Pap is so smart, and he's such a great teacher. So I was able to learn so much from him. But yeah, that's there's something different when you're on a championship team like that. You can feel it in the room. It's hard to describe, but you just kind of the character in the room and how everyone carries themselves and what you do throughout the day. It's different when you're on a championship team, and I won't forget that feeling and kind of trying to recreate that here.
Awesome. So now, 2 years at Northern Michigan. What have you thought about, uh, for one, playing and being a hockey player and all that, but just getting to experience the university and everything that goes with that?
Yeah, Northern's it's a beautiful spot. Um, it's not like I wouldn't you wouldn't think of it as maybe the college experience like a Michigan or like a Penn State. Like it's not a very big school. So I think that's kind of a plus. And there's not many distractions from hockey. So from here, it's just kind of hockey. And I didn't really find the school part to be too difficult to get back into it. I was a little bit scared it would be a little bit overwhelming, but
Mm.
it honestly wasn't too bad. And the coaches and teachers are like really good with helping you out with that and making it easy as possible.
And what are you studying?
I just switched my major to financial management. I'm not sure if I want to do anything in that field. Um, I still don't know what I want to do, but I think that's just kind of a general thing that no matter what I do, it'll kind of benefit me. So, yeah,
Oh, you want to be a hockey player still?
yeah, that's the goal.
Well, and a good step towards that was last summer. I saw you went to the Winnipeg Jets development camp. Just what'd you take away from that experience?
Yeah, again, it was more of the way they kind of conducted it was it wasn't really a tryout. They didn't expect anyone there to make their roster, so they just wanted you to like take in everything and learn as much as you could. And again, it was really cool to play with some of those top end players and just kind of see where you compare with them, um, and how they conduct themselves and kind of what they do to recover and all that stuff. So yeah, I just took away like I was just watching other guys, just trying to learn as much as I could and pay attention to the coaches and yeah, take that stuff away.
And I guess like the whole connection here is like being a Brooks Bandit and what you talked about earlier about what you learn here and how it's run here. How much do you think that really helped you for going to Northern Michigan, going to the Jets camp and being comfortable there?
Yeah, I think it helped a lot because everyone at those camps and at this level, they have that similar mindset, and they want to get better and they want to be the best player they can. So everyone kind of carries himself in a certain way and acts a certain way. So yeah, if I didn't have that experience, I maybe would feel a little out of place, but I felt like I was fine.
Got to ask about Brendan Poshak, who just is in his freshman season at Northern Michigan. But you got to play with him 2 years ago in Brooks and now reunited with him. How's he doing?
Coach is doing awesome. Um, yeah, he had a little injury trouble this year. Um, but yeah, and he didn't get as much opportunity as I kind of thought he deserved, to be honest. But every day that guy like will lift your spirits up and he comes in the room, he's always smiling, even though he's not playing, which I feel like some guys fall victim to kind of thinking themselves as a victim if they're not playing or injured. But you can never tell that guy is always running his mouth and picking everyone up around him. So he's doing great.
Was he the best chirper on the team this year, or was he like, I'm a freshman, I gotta like kind of ease into that?
Yeah, he was a little bit. I don't know personally how our coaches like feel about chirping. So he kind of had to keep it a little bit low key, but I'd be sitting next to him on the bench. He would throw some out there every now and then.
That's cool. Another guy I got to
Yeah.
ask about is your cousin Keith, who is now playing with the Brooks Bandits, and we're big fans of Keith already. In the short time that we've gotten to know him, and just how excited were you to find out he'd become a Bandit, and what have you thought, or have you talked to him about any advice going to Brooks?
Yeah. So yeah, kind of when he was in water there and things, like I was just telling you, like things weren't really going his way. And I was just kind of asking him, like, do you think you need to move on? And it came to the point where he did. And he had a few options on the table. I think he had some offers from BC, and as well as like maybe some teams in Alberta. And then he told me Brooks was actually interested. So like I tried not to persuade his decision that much, but I really did want him to go to Brooks because of such a positive experience that I had. And so I was really happy when he ended up choosing that. But advice I gave, I just told him, make sure you're paying attention to your details. Like even if you're going through flow drills, make sure you're shoulder checking and calling for the puck, because Pat really values that and likes that. So I told him not to yawn in video, and I wasn't worried about that to begin with, but just little things I could think of, and just told him to enjoy it because he'll have so much fun.
What do you think of his game? Like, what do you think is the real strength of Keith's game?
I think he has a really good stick. Like just the way he's able to like present his stick and take away space from people is like I feel like I don't see that much. And when we're playing one on one in the ODR, it really pisses me off because I feel like I can't do anything, and I'm a few years older than him. So, but yeah, I'd say a stick, physical stick, but he also works really hard and is really driven, and he's kind of been through a tough time with some injuries in the past, but he's never really given up or anything. So it's a strength as well.
And did you get a chance to see his fight from last weekend?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that fired me up. He's
Did
had a few this year, and I'm always checking. I try to watch the games when I can, but I'm always checking, and I just seen on the Twitter feed game misconduct, so I had to go find it on Full Hockey. It fired me up.
what would you think of his performance?
Oh, I thought he won.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did well.
Any moments on the ODR between you and him where the mitts came off? Even if it was
Yeah,
just for
I don't
fun?
think I don't think we ever fought. I think when I was younger, I maybe like pushed him around a little bit because he was a lot smaller than me, but now he's like quite a bit bigger than me. So yeah, we never really have fought, but we've definitely like got into it. Just I don't even remember what for, but just probably just competitiveness and not wanting to lose. But yeah, we always find a way to make up after.
Right on. So, your family, I believe I think we had a game in Blackfalds, and they may have been there probably to watch Keith. But have
Mhm.
they been out to come watch you, and how are they doing?
Yeah, family's doing good. They kind of spread out. My dad's been, I think with his work, it worked out. He was able to come to Mankato. And my mom and grandparents were able to come to Northern Michigan to watch me play this year. They made one trip out last year and one trip out this year, but yeah, they're doing great. And it's really beautiful, especially in the summer and fall. This is a really cool place. So I was glad they were able to come out for the fall.
Good stuff. Well, we're glad that we got to catch up with you, and I was excited to see you get some recognition the other day. So congratulations on that, and looking forward to seeing what you can do in the future here. So continued success to you, Josh. Thanks again for doing this, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It was awesome.
Thanks to Josh Zinger for joining us on Bandits Weekly, and congratulations to him on the great season at Northern Michigan, just named CCHA Second Team All-Star. Just a reminder, the Bandits webpage is now up and running again at brooksbandits.net. New URL, but the website, you can get your tickets, 50/50s merch, it's all there, brooksbandits.net. Bandits Cash Raffle draw date is coming up on March 29th when the Bandits host the Spruce Grove Saints. We will also have our award ceremony that night. Once again, the cash raffle this year, the grand prize is $25,000. Tickets are only $50, and you can buy them right now at brooksbandits.net. That's going to do it for this week's edition of Bandits Weekly, presented by Smash Supplements. I'm Nathan Crosby. Thanks to Keith McInnis, Josh Zinger, Drayson Kuiper, and thank you